Hello, Vault Hunters, and welcome to the end of the carrot of pre-sequel Borderlands, where we have entered the vault. We have killed the boss.
What? That's it?
And Handsome Jack is not impressed.
The hell did...
Oh, kind of weapon.
Have a seat. We have
that
many
is an
things to show
uncomfortable
you.
chair.
God! I get it! I understand! I understand everything!
Hey, handsome.
Boosh.
Is that where he got the name? It's an insult to Lilith?
He's so handsome. Because the handsome one will be victorious above people who have the audacity to call him handsome in the first place. How dare they?
I'm gonna kill them all. Oh,
No, he's ugly.
you're gonna find me a doctor. Then we're gonna wipe those bandit bastards off the face of Pandora. And then we're gonna wake the warrior.
The what?
The ultimate warrior!
Yes!
So good.
It's going to be an awesome warrior.
Had it in fire. There's gonna be screaming. Bandits are gonna die left and right.
Do you think Handsome Jack would be slightly less evil if he had a better chair?
The villain always has the comfiest chair.
And that is when the hero who saved us on Helios died. That was when I left Handsome Jack's employ. You regret teaming up with Jack? Yes. Now do what you will.
It really is a snafu, because if we didn't help Jack, then Elpis would have gotten blown up, and then, by extension, much of Pandora also would have died.
Still be alive. Ready?
This ain't us, Lil. This ain't you.
Fire! Oh.
Whoa.
Hello, spoilers.
Not the time for biggery, Vault Hunters. War is coming, and you will need all the Vault Hunters you can get.
That is an Empyrean. They are the aliens that, you know, are behind the origins of the Vault.
Aliens!
And thus ends Borderlands 2 the pre-sequel.
It's a contradiction in terms. But yes, we have successfully completed what has been one of the shortest campaigns of any of the 3 Borderlands games. That is before Borderlands 3 came out. And that game is probably longer than this one, too.
More than likely, as it's a full release and you end up exploring a bunch of different places in the galaxy. Anyway, as far as I saw, I actually like a majority of the changes that Borderlands pre-sequel offers to the Borderlands 2 formula. Specifically, the moon gravity and the laser-based weapons look like they would be really fun to play with.
Dude, moon gravity is the shit, and I really hope that they include some moon levels, thanks to the magic of teleportation, so you can go to the moon and back, no problem.
Gearbox quality assurance.
Yes, and how about our
But now we have
Australian
to do
voice
this
acting
incredibly
team?
long credit sequence.
2K Australia. I'm saying that Australians were incremental in the success of this game. Getting you involved in a world where, much like Australia, which is its own continent practically, that the moon also is isolated in its own way and allowed to develop its own nuanced culture.
Ashley Burch is Tiny Tina and Schmidt.
Brian Megan playing the bosun.
actually do like having. I actually do like seeing the origin story for Jack all throughout the game. Mostly because I like the character path that he's got, where it's not necessarily that he's a douchebag for the entire trip, although he is a douchebag for the entire trip. But it's the exaggeration of his faults that turn him into a villain, as opposed to any singular event that happens. Sure, Lilith punching the Empyrean Vault knowledge out of him is a pretty big driver for him to turn into a villain. But he was villainous before that, so
it just goes to show that he wanted to prove that even someone as good as you could fall, and he was right, baby. That Handsome Jack
didn't actually start off all that good.
So yes, there does appear to be a strong psychological difference between Jack, who we knew for most of the game, and Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack was created at the very end, after Jack had slipped into a pit of loathing.
But a majority of the features that we would get to know for Handsome Jack have been building up throughout the entire game. Specifically, the big feature that I pull from is his increased paranoia. I want to say that Handsome Jack is more or less born from his paranoia, as opposed to any hatred.
Well, paranoia and hatred have a similar root, which is in evolutionary terms, human beings hated things so that they would survive, because the hateful things usually are the things that are not conducive to life, like predators or threats, like bandits and evil people and people who piss you off, people that get in your way.
I don't know, man. I personally think that a majority of the high-end predators in the animal kingdom are pretty damn cool. I would not say I hate them.
Yeah. I am going to miss the pre-sequel universe, though. I like hearing all the quirky Australian characters, because just like how they use Australian stereotypes on the moon, they use American Southern stereotypes on Pandora itself. So this game is not afraid of making fun of people based on how they talk.
I still don't think we ever met that cyborg.
No, that cyborg is one of the playable characters. He's like, he looks a lot like Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Nah, Kano's only cybernetic implant that's prominent is the cybernetic eye.
Still made of robot parts.
A robot part, come on. It's not like he's Sue Howe that's got the cybernetic heart.
And yes, I am also going to miss playing as Fragtrap. I like that it gave me the option to play as that motherfucker right there who's getting zapped on the ground after his guts got ripped out. Following the events of this game, in which Handsome Jack performs claptrapicide, and kills all but one of the claptraps in the known universe. Yay! I like that I got to hear his pre-programmed enthusiasm throughout the game, because he's incapable of expressing either fear or doubt, except when he endures a brief existential crisis. And I also am going to miss the quirkiness of Valhunter.exe. As we have seen, Valhunter.exe is in no way whatsoever a perfect special. It's randomly selected exactly what you're going to get. You can control it as much as the passives that you got. But as far as your special itself, you got to get used to rolling the dice. A D20.
It's not really a D20. It's closer to a D6.
No, he's got more than 6. I mean, and then you get to add some, like pirate ship mode, which we had fun with very briefly, but then I realized, no, this is not happening.
It would be better if it was direct fire launchers instead of cannons.
But if it was not cannons, then how are we supposed to do the homage to the 1812 overture, which actually uses cannons as part of the musical score?
You can still use the score just fine. Just switch out the cannons visually for direct fire railguns instead. That way, it could still fire on the cannon beats. That way the reference is still there. It just actually functions slightly better.
Yeah, and they could have tightened up the Frag Fiesta party. I would imagine that with
Torque Fiesta.
Torque Fiesta, yeah, that one can go screw itself. Yeah, and there's the 1812 Festival Overture by Tchaikovsky. Thank you, but fuck you. So that was the credit.
Well, pretty awesome are purely fictitious and not intended to represent any actual entity.
Mr. Tassiter, are you there?
Mr. Tassiter's been replaced, sweet cheeks. Starting today, you're working for me.
Who is... John, is that you?
Call me Jack, honey.
Handsome Jack.
He's so handsome. The pre-sequel. Because this came before the sequel, which you should totally play. Because it's one of the best games ever.
Yes. I don't think it's one of the best games ever. Oh, and it dumps us right back here. Just like Borderlands 2 did.
Huh. What a funny dream.
Wait,
I'm a robot.
It's a door!
I shouldn't be having dreams. Let's get out of here. Alright, so, let's follow along with the canon now. Jack is now the ruler of the Hyperion Corporation. He decided that CEO was not sufficient. He named himself Supreme Ruler of the Universe. And, we're gonna go talk to our boss.
I expect you to die.
So your pistol subroutine makes it so that your pistols are effectively submachine guns, just with better accuracy.
Well, the pistol I'm using already operates like a submachine gun. This pistol is very powerful. Lots of damage, lots of acid over time, and high rate of fire, and high reload speed. Higher level weapons, of course, would be superior. Huh. This place is looking a little different.
This painting is making me introspect really hard.
Claptrap, you're an idiot. You still need to clean this up. Yes, Mr. Jack?
Don't wander too far. Something always comes up.
Oh, you.
And we get a legendary helm for it. The Champion of Elisir.
I don't check out that head for some reason. I forgot to do a lot of things, especially showing how auto-selling works. Yep, now we have the option to do true vault hunter mode, yada yada. That's if you deign to play the entire game again as a level, basically starting as level 28, 29.
The best story ever told.
Hello there, Athena. Yo soy Tiny Tina, and this is my big brother, Brick.
Man, will you please stop calling me that? It's weird.
I heard you were telling stories. I want to hear one.
What would you like to hear? The death of Nox? The fall of New Hay...
Oh, never mind. I got a better idea. Tell me a story about a raid boss.
I don't know what that is.
I do.
What do you mean you don't? How do you not?
Shush, baby, shush, 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 shush. Your big sister's got this. Then Athena and her 3 other pals went to the inner core of the moon.
Do I have to go with friends? I can't just do it alone?
Not unless you
Oh,
want to die.
yeah, it's
Or
gonna
you
be
found
good.
a broken ass combination of loot and you want to show off on the echo thing.
Oh, it's the bestest story ever told.
We didn't have a video.
Yeah, and for those of us who were just coming from Borderlands 2 and playing this game, you will recognize this as the Terramorphous extra boss at the end of that game. The sequence is very similar. Go to a late game area, bring lots of iridium, put it in the thingies. This one is very expensive.
So you have to sacrifice 20 moonstones in order to summon the final this boss.
You'll never guess who it is. I bet you're just dead excited. You guys are fun. Anyway, you guys.
Yeah, they are.
You guys want a little extra fun before you start True Vault Hunter mode, or just outright put this game down in lieu of superior games?
What happened next? What happened next?
We fought a raid boss.
Yay!
So is this just the same? Is this just the same fight, or? It looks like it's gonna be the same fight.
Dun dun dun.
The Sentinel, Guardian of the Vault. Yeah, we know that.
It's the exact same cutscene as before, right to the moment where he pulls out his magic sword.
The Invincible Sentinel.
The Invincible, which is a misnomer because he can take damage.
Although his shield is constantly regenerating. Oh dear.
I can beat you, of course. I already beat you once before. You will die. Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, if you were slightly better at dodging combat, you probably could actually beat him.
I mean, you remember how the Sentinel plays out, Mr. Burnett. First, there's the first phase, then there's the second phase, then there's the third phase. Let's not forget that fourth phase. And then you have to fight a whole nother round of Empyrean Invincible Sentinel. At least as far as I know. I didn't look into it. This is an extra boss. This is optional. You can do this if you so desire. But, yeah, there's a reason why this video ends in 15 seconds. And so we have died for the last time.
You don't even get second wind. Man, ouch.
And that was Borderlands the Pre-sequel. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Be safe,
but
everybody.
there are better Borderlands games. Play them. We'll see you next time.